In the silent expanse of Earth Space Command's main hub, an alarm shattered the tranquil hum of machinery. Commander Elena Ramirez froze, her coffee cup poised midair. The dimly lit command center was instantly bathed in a harsh blue glow as the central holographic projector came alive. A flickering image of Kieran, ambassador of the crystalline Zareen race, materialized above the table. His usual serene, prismatic form was fractured, shimmering cracks radiating like jagged wounds. "This is Ambassador Kieran of Veridor Prime." His voice crackled through the static, distorted and panicked. "We are under siege. The Obsidian Dominion has breached our defenses. They show no mercy. Earth, if you hear this, please, please help us." The image dissolved into static, leaving Elena staring at the frozen expression of desperation etched on Kieran's face. 5 years of trust building between Earth and the Zareen flashed through her mind. Alliances forged, knowledge shared, and cultural bridges built now teetered on the brink of annihilation. The Zareen's survival depended on Earth's response. Elena set down her coffee with trembling hands and tapped into the emergency communications system. "This is Commander Ramirez. Get Admiral Bennett and the Security Council online immediately. We have a crisis." Within moments, Earth's highest-ranking officials filled the holographic grid. Admiral Nathan Bennett, a battle-hardened veteran, spoke first. "Play the transmission," he commanded, his gravelly voice cutting through the tension. The room fell silent as Kieran's plea replayed, accompanied by satellite visuals of Veridor Prime. The crystalline cities, once breathtaking marvels of architecture, were reduced to molten rubble under a relentless assault. Jagged, obsidian warships hung like predators over the shattered planet, their weapons obliterating evacuation ships before they could break orbit. "This isn't warfare," Bennett muttered grimly. "It's extermination." President Olivia Kane, Earth's pragmatic leader, leaned forward. "What of the Galactic Assembly? Have other civilizations responded?" Elena answered. "The Virian Council has declared neutrality. The Etherian clans claim they cannot risk opposing the Dominion. We're alone in this." Heavy silence settled over the council. The Obsidian Dominion's reputation was infamous. Entire civilizations had been consumed by their ruthless conquests, leaving nothing but desolation in their wake. Defense Minister Julian Cross broke the silence. "If we intervene, we risk drawing the Dominion's wrath to Earth. Their fleet outmatches ours fivefold. This could be the end of us." Elena's fists clenched. "And if we do nothing, the Zareen will be annihilated. They've stood by us when no one else would. If we abandon them now, what does that say about Earth's honor?" Admiral Bennett nodded in agreement. "She's right. But this isn't just a military decision. It's a decision for all of humanity. We need consensus." Hours of heated debate followed as grim updates streamed in. The Zareen capital had fallen. Civilians were taking refuge underground, their crystalline forms dimming with despair. Finally, President Kane stood, her voice firm. "We vote now, all in favor of deploying Earth's forces to Veridor Prime." One by one, hands rose. The decision was unanimous. The next 48 hours were a whirlwind. Earth's military-industrial complex roared to life, churning out weapons and mobilizing fleets. Volunteers surged into recruitment centers, driven by loyalty to the Zareen and the stark realization that Earth could be next. Elena worked tirelessly, assembling the most formidable fighting force in Earth's history. Her core team reflected humanity's best. Captain Dominic Hayes, a daredevil pilot with a reputation for impossible maneuvers, was the first to join. Then came Sergeant Maya Chun, a tactical genius whose ground strategies had turned the tide in countless skirmishes. Dr. Lila Sharp, a scientist with an uncanny ability to reverse engineer alien technologies, completed the roster. Each brought their unique strength, but also their own burdens. Hayes carried the weight of a past mission gone wrong, a loss that had driven him to reckless acts of heroism. Chen's stoic demeanor masked the trauma of losing her squad to Dominion forces in a previous encounter. Sharp was haunted by the moral implications of her work. Her breakthroughs had saved lives, but had also been weaponized in ways she struggled to reconcile. As the launch countdown began, Elena found a moment of solitude. Standing before a holographic display of Earth, she watched the serene blue-green orb turn slowly in the void. The stark contrast to the chaos on Veridor Prime weighed heavily on her. Soft chime interrupted her thoughts. "Enter," she called. The door slid open to reveal her father, retired astronaut Carlos Ramirez. His once dark hair was streaked with silver, but his eyes held the same unyielding determination that had inspired Elena as a child. "I thought you might need this," he said, handing her a small compass. Its surface was worn, but it gleamed with an inner light. "Your lucky charm," Elena murmured, her voice catching. Carlos placed a hand on her shoulder. "It guided me through the darkest moments. Now, it's your turn to carry it." Elena nodded, slipping the compass into her pocket. "I won't let them down, Dad." "I know you won't," he said, his voice steady. "You never have." The launch bay buzzed with activity. Crew members saluted as Elena strode toward her command ship, the ESS Horizon. At the base of the boarding ramp, her team awaited her. Captain Hayes offered a roguish grin. Sergeant Chen stood at attention, and Dr. Sharp clutched her data pad, her mind clearly already at work. "Ready?" Elena asked. "Always," Hayes replied with a wink. Chun nodded silently, and Sharp gave a determined smile. As they boarded, the Horizon's systems hummed to life. Holographic displays illuminated the bridge, showing Earth's fleet in orbit. Hundreds of ships, ranging from sleek fighters to colossal carriers, formed an imposing armada. "Status report," Elena commanded. "All ships report ready, Commander," the comms officer replied. "Very well. Initiate hyperspace jump. Destination, Veridor Prime." The fleet emerged from hyperspace to devastation. Veridor Prime's surface was a shattered wasteland. The Dominion fleet loomed, an ominous wall of darkness. "Dropping out of hyperspace in 3, 2, 1, Hayes announced. The starfield snapped into focus, revealing the full scale of the carnage. Fires raged across the planet, and crystalline spires crumbled into smoking ruins. Dominion warships hovered above the destruction, preparing for another bombardment. Elena's voice cut through the shock. "Evasive maneuvers. Protect the bombers. We're punching through that blockade." The horizon shuddered under enemy fire as Elena directed the fleet. Fighters darted through the debris field, targeting weak points in the Dominion's formation. Hayes led the charge, his squadron weaving through enemy lines with surgical precision. "Commander," Chen called out, "Dominion flagship identified. It's 3 times the size of the Horizon." Elena's jaw tightened. "Prepare the nuclear warheads. All ships, focus fire on the flagship. We've got one shot at this." As the fleet converged on the massive vessel, explosions rippled across its hull. Finally, Hayes' fighter delivered the critical blow, diving into the flagship's reactor core. A brilliant explosion engulfed the Dominion's command ship, sending shockwaves through their fleet. Cheers erupted across the horizon as the Dominion forces retreated in disarray. Elena allowed herself a brief smile, but her thoughts turned to the cost of their victory. Hayes' sacrifice weighed heavily on her. "Begin rescue operations," she ordered. "Let's bring them home." In the months that followed, Earth's intervention at Veridor Prime became a symbol of hope. Diplomatic efforts intensified as civilizations across the galaxy reconsidered their stance against the Dominion. Elena found herself at the forefront of a new coalition, one built on unity and resilience. But the fight was far from over. As Elena stood before the Galactic Assembly, she spoke with unwavering conviction. The Obsidian Dominion's attack was not just an assault on Veridor Prime. It was a declaration of intent, a promise that no world is safe from their hunger for conquest. But together, we've proven that even the darkest shadows can be pierced by light. The chamber erupted in applause. Elena's journey was just beginning, but for the first time, she felt the weight of her compass lightened by the strength of a galaxy united in hope.